Okay, so in this video we're going to look at do-while loops and while loops in PHP, and we'll explain the fundamental difference between these. So the first one we'll look at is while loops. So if we go ahead and just look at outputting numbers from 1 to 10, we'll use that as an example here and we'll see how we can do that with a while loop. Now while loops are also used to loop over result sets. So for example, if you're working with MySQLi, retrieving data from a MySQL database or even PDO, and you're returning results from a database, you might see syntax that looks similar to this. So it's while row equals and then the ability to fetch a result, so a result row. But we're just going to be basically looking at the very basic syntax and looping from 1 to 10. So I'm going to create a variable called start, and this is going to be 1. So with while, we're going to say while, and we also need a counter here because we need to determine what number we're starting at and also the increment. So I'm going to say while x is less than or equal to 10, which it is currently. Then I want to go ahead and echo, in actual fact we can get rid of this start variable, I want to go ahead and echo x, and I also want to increment x as well. So what I'm really doing here is saying, well, let's start at 1, and when we hit this line here, we're going to check immediately if x is less than or equal to 10, which it currently is. So we're going to echo that out. We guess we could append a space onto that, and then we'll increment that value. Now what's going to happen is this will loop again, and x still will still be less than or equal to 10. So we'll basically just achieve something like this, where we're looping from 1 to 10. Now that's fair enough, and we know that we can use this for things like database results, so we don't really need to go too much else into this. But we also have this loop called do while. Now let's just say you wanted to do something before you even checked a condition. Let's just change this around a little bit. So we're going to say do something while something else. So in this case, let's just echo hello, and where we say while, I'm just going to say while 0. Now if we were to change this to while 0, none of this would run because this evaluates to false. So let's just get rid of that. What's going to happen here is the fundamental difference between a do while loop and a while loop is that the do while loop will always run the block of code before it checks the condition. So the condition here will be checked after the block has been run. So now what we get is hello, whereas if we were to use a while loop doing this, while 0 echo hello, then we would not get any output because the condition is checked beforehand and therefore the block isn't even run. So the do while loop is useful if you want to actually run a block of code and then look at an expression as well. So if for some reason we wanted hello to echo out at least once, but then we wanted to check if x was less than or equal to 10, in here we might want to then increment x. What's going to happen now is that we will see, if we just load up the browser, we'll see hello echoed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times as expected, because what's happened here is we're running this block of code, and we are basically echoing this out, and then we're incrementing x, checking if it's less than or equal to 10, and then running based on that. So if, for example, we had x up here set to 100, if we now refresh, hello's output once, because what happens is we execute this, we increment x, which is 101, but then by the time we reach that point, the expression can't evaluate to true because that value is in fact greater than 10. So that's the fundamental difference between do while loops and while loops in PHP, and the while loop is particularly useful, as we've already mentioned, for looping over result sets such as database results.